思わずうっざりべサラクリタシースラークメスティッシュカリージュスイヴィッタ
Alright. Alright, so this is pretty much the end of Gravity Rush 2. There were 20 or 21 missions, let me see. For the main game, which is Cat's Story. I believe Raven's Story was attached as kind of like a DLC or something. Or maybe it wasn't a DLC, it's just a secondary options. So there are a total of 20 stories actually as part of the main story of Gravity Rush 2. I knew it was going to be long, but I didn't realize the game was this long. But here's the thing, why for overall I would say the game is like a 8.2. It really started to get boring within the third act because most of the stories felt like they were just rushing towards the ending, and I don't mean rushing as their speed towards the ending. I mean rushing as they were throwing everything, including kitchen sink, at the ending with regards to content that has no relevance with regards to the main story. Like certain missions didn't need to be included. It felt like it was all stuffed. That's what I meant by rushing towards the end. They took a lot of things and tried to extend and stretch out the story of Gravity Rush 2 main story, as in they rushed towards the ending to finish this project, but someone wanted it to be longer. That's what I really meant to say. Someone wanted this game to be longer than it should have been, and in my opinion it shouldn't have been more than probably 15 missions. Like 5 of the missions probably didn't need to exist, and that's the reason why I had got it up to from anywhere from 8.7, then I dropped it down to an 8.5, and then to an 8.4. Those are the main reasons why. But then it went down to 8.2 when I realized it actually had, the story wasn't as interesting as I thought. I thought there was something far more greater going on, and I realized the story was kind of poor. So then I dropped it all the way down to 8.2, but it wasn't just for the story. It was for the fact that the powers, like the last power, which is the Panther power, really wasn't done justice as it was given in the third act at the last moment, which really kind of upset me in a way, because then what was the point of getting that final power if it's in the last act of the game? You don't get to enjoy it, and you don't get to use it. The same is with regards to certain talismans and things that you cannot get. It felt kind of pointless to have those things towards the end, where they should have been collected towards nearing the end, not the last chapter of the game, or the chapter before the last chapter of the game. So those felt like wasted opportunities. So then I got it down to 8.2 in regards to that. But then I brought it back up to, then I saw it from the point of view of not just a general audience or somebody who's trying to critique the game. I saw certain things that I didn't pay attention to before, and I realized that those things are quite important in the long run, such as combination of fusion of certain elements, and getting rid of certain talismans. Like you could fuse talisman, and I saw that and I realized, okay, there's a fusion of talismans, then there's throwing away talismans and stuff. But then I realized, okay, so you could shift these things back and forth and add perks towards them, and then they have build-ups and certain things that work together, which are best used in certain missions and not in certain missions. So I got it off from my 8.2 or 8.3 because I really realized that the different talismans that you could combine are many and are godsend. But also one of the main reasons why I went down to 8.2 is because you have tons of talismans you have to get with convoluting missions and challenges and certain things that really takes away a lot of your time rather than actually feel worthwhile playing. I felt like you really have to be dedicated to try to get these things, otherwise it really is a drag trying to get them. So but then I got it up to 8.2 and I realized that certain perks were more beneficial in certain missions rather than others if you put on certain talismans. And I thought that was an interesting idea and an interesting choice and helpful towards our gravity power. So I never put that as a factor in before. Also, I believe certain characters such as Seshi was revealed to be sister of Kali, and I thought that was also good with regards to the story because we didn't know who she was from the beginning, and she was just an orphan taken in by Lisa, and so it's more like she had amnesia, and I thought that was interesting. They did something with her rather than just have her as a mundane character, so that was interesting. Plus the whole story of the angel, which you thought Kali Angels was actually on the good guy side, a hero or something. It turns out she was part of some narcissistic villain who is a genocidal maniac. So I thought that was also interesting too. So I got that up from 8.3 to about 8.4. So I landed exactly where I wanted to land it before. Between 8.4, the in between of 8.4 from 8.2 to about 8.7. And I said, well, 8.4 is where I belong. But then as I'm going towards the end, the game introduced the Panther mode and everything. So I thought to myself, well, maybe there's a possibility that that once you beat the game, there's New Game Plus and everything. But that's an assumption that's done by me. So I came to a conclusion. I started looking over certain things, certain items that you could find, episodes, and collectibles. And various collectibles, various photos you could take, and a lot of it is you have photo review. Many things are taken down due to the fact that Gravity Rush 2 doesn't exist in its network connections anymore, but at least photos, pictures you could take, perks, items you could acquire, collectibles, these things are all present in the game. So the 8.5 would be to the overall experience of the game, that one additional point to what was my overall experience of the game from beginning to middle to ending. Did it suck from the beginning? Definitely not. Did it suck in the middle? Definitely not. That's when you started to get most of your other powers in the middle of the game. Did it stop going towards the ending? Yes, it started to become very convoluted in certain missions. Once it get past the part of the council and the corrupt people of rich versus poor, once you got past that part, the story started to go downhill a little until the introduction of the genocidal maniac. So overall, I would say the game is I give the game a point for simply having more good going for it than more bad going for it in the story overall. So I gave it points for the story, but then I went back and looked at the story in details and characters and read all the text because they're not verbally saying these things. And then I came to a conclusion. The best parts of the story was the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and then it fell apart kind of at the end. And if it wasn't for the whole genocidal maniac and the messed up one called Kali Angels, it wouldn't work. But they felt like they were forced into the story rather than a part of the story. The story really felt like it was supposed to be, Cat and Raven versus the Council rather than some genocidal maniac. So I believe the game I have it as 8.5. It could be an 8.4, but as a fan, I'm putting it as an 8.5 overall. Now, if the game does have a New Game Plus and comes with the New Game Plus, then I am going to change this video and put the game as 8.7, because that means you get to keep everything you have, and you get to play Panther mode from beginning towards the end, and you get to enjoy the experience without having to worry about earning anything that deserves more than just 1 point. And possibly many other unlockables that you could not get during the first playthrough. So we'll have to see about that. So I'm playing the last section. I didn't expect. Also, certain bosses weren't very good in the game. And that's also one of the reasons why I was never high up, why I kept it within the 8.4, 8.5. A lot of bosses in the game towards the beginning were boring. A lot of bosses towards the middle of the game were okay, and towards the end the bosses started to get hard and were interesting. But I believe that's intentional. They were specifically developed to be from easy boss to harder boss to hardest boss, and so on and so forth. So the nevs weren't really that much of an issue. It's when you start to fight other people with powers, or fight nevs that are mutated or are high stakes level in challenges or whatever. So those were very interesting, especially certain nevs that were in the challenge mode. Those were very, very interesting. And sliding missions and all their use of powers, limitations of powers, you can't do this. You have to use just your body and stuff. So that's the reason why it's not lower in the low 8s, it's in the high 8s, because the game allows you to trigger those different powers and use only those different powers to do certain things, to see how you could challenge yourself using the Gravity Queen's ability. I also like the alias of her being called the Gravity Queen. So for the fun factor alone of who she is and what she represents, and people call her the Gravity Queen like she's a superhero or something, or like Superman has his name is actually Clark Kent, but he's known by everyone as Superman. Here, Cat is Cat, and she's known by her friends as Cat, but by everyone she's known as the Gravity Queen. So she's like Superman. So I like that a lot, because in the game, the people in this world consider her like a Superman type character, or people like her like Superman. So she's donned that name by people in many different cultures in the many different planes. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so all in all, I would say the game deserves this 8.5 for its style, for its way of use, for everything that it represents. I really do like the Panther mode as well, because you don't have to really use gravity. She just shifts into a Panther mode and she can move around as a Panther through gravity without using her powers. So it's like a little beneficial thing. So it's good. So I'll end the game on a pretty high note. This was a good game. It was an overall good game. I would say 2 out of 3 parts of the game were good. That makes it very good. And of course, for the challenges and the powers and the items you collected and the outfits that you wear, it got it up a little bit better than just good. So that's why it's in the 8.5 to me. It wasn't a great game by no means. I don't see this being the high 8s territory, or even in the 9 territory. But at the same time, I don't see this being in the low 8s territory, because they did way too much here for it to be low 8s. This is like, they did a lot, and it would be in the high 8s territory, but I believe they kind of dropped the ball in the third tier of their story, and something seems to be forced. That's why it's 8.5. I'm not going to have this below 8.5. Now, if you're a person that's critical against games like this, you could put it in the low 8s category, but you would have to be some type of criminal or idiot if you were to put this in the 7s, or you don't like games like this at all, or you don't understand games like this, or you don't understand how to create games like this, or to make games like this. And also there's the factor of the music as well, which was also tallied. How to compose music, how to make them sound epic in certain screens and certain situations, and when not to use certain epic music and use other music. You know, this is not Assassin's Creed Liberation, where they don't know how to use music in certain situations. So yeah, I'm just going to end the game off and say on a high note and say this is a good game. This is a game that's worth purchasing. Also, This is a game that they're not making anymore. They're not going to make a Gravity Rush 3 anymore, and if they are, it's not going to be anytime soon. So this is a game worth having simply to have in your collection, because it's highly unlikely that they're going to be making another one of these in the near future. In fact, I believe that this one was going to be a success, but due to many other new interesting projects that came in the future, the company started to focus their attention on those things. And maybe in the future, at one point in the future, they might come back to this. But I don't believe they will. I don't believe they will at all. Maybe in the next 5 years, maybe in the next 3 years, or in the next 2 years, there might be an announcement, or maybe never at all. So I believe this game is a game you should have, just to have within your collection, because they might never make this game again, either the first Gravity Rush or the second Gravity Rush, just to have it and say, well, I have this game, because they're not making this game anymore. It's like if they stopped at Devil May Cry 2 and they never made Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5, 6, you know, moving forward. I believe they're making a 6. But who knows? Who knows? You can only cross your fingers. But having collection, no regrets. Should have finished this game like way many years ago, but I'm here now. So I'll take out this last bad guy and see if there's New Game Plus. I'll probably let the credits roll, and that's it. Yeah, it's a bit harder than I thought because there's two faces. So I believe maybe I shouldn't be using the big heavy one, even though the smaller one takes a lot more hits. The big heavy one just takes way too long to do the strong attack. I might as well just do the lighter one. Such a waste. Yeah, and that's the reason why the big mode works because the small mode takes way too long just to do the attack. But waiting too long just to do a huge medium strike downward slam, it's ridiculous. The enemy will see you trying to do that to power up at max, so you can't even. It's like you can't go at max. You have to go halfway. Yeah, this is way more difficult than I thought. I'm thinking maybe I could throw something at their faces, but I don't think there's anything I can throw. Oh, I can. I can throw stuff. I just get on the back. Okay. Should have known that from the beginning. I'm here stressing myself out of this. And all I had to do was just find some place to throw stuff. What the hell? Oh, it got rid of the boxes. Come on. I got rid of all the boxes. Shit, I keep getting rid of the boxes. Come on. Can't see anything. Too far. I wasn't trying to I wasn't trying to use the health the first time because I wanted to see if I could kill it, the final boss, without using any health. To see if whether the boss was easy or normal. And without taking any health whatsoever at all, whether it's one or two, it's highly unlikely that you beat that final boss, whether it's in normal mode or in hard mode, without taking any health. So the final boss was pretty hard. Another reason why I have it at 8.5.
おやジュアンのシュラ
Siwi, unleza sejo hexawell.
Du se Arias
What?
Qu'est-ce qui se poco Qui se co Le la datu jutura Ju Professor
Seudure udusi leza. Semua ero alive.
So that was the final chapter. Um, Even though that was the final chapter, it's not the end of the story. The finale is this right here. Oh yes, and that's another thing too. Um, the game is over. Credits roll, but the game's not over. So I guess I have to finish the last part of the finale to actually see if the game is going to be over, and if it allows me to do new game plus. It might not, but there's other activities in the game that also realize from last videos I was doing various different uh, I would say mini quests. They're more like activities. They're not side quests and they're not challenges, but they're like activities, like gravity storms in progress, or attain a new uniform. Well, not attain new uniform, but gravity storms, like these mini mining sites, locations, or like separate activities from the game itself. And I believe they also give rewards. So they're not really side quests and they're not really challenges, but they're things you could do for collectibles as well. So that's also a factor. I could get it to 8.6, but I don't believe that's enough to be 8.6. It'd be enough to be like 8.55 or something like that, but not 8.6. Because you don't really have to do it. It's not that important. Alright, so all main stories are done, as it says here. Say goodbye. Complete. And that means the little girl running away is a side story. The game of gravity. Yeah, it's a side story. It's the kid. Now I've unlocked, actually what am I doing? I've unlocked warp, teleportation. So I don't need to do this. I got to say, she lives in a real shitty place. Like, live inside of a manhole? Like, what the hell? But I guess this is one of those futures where you don't really care where you live as long as it belongs to you. Let me check my map. Wait a minute. Quick menu. Current locations. So let's put Eldor Station. Oh, it's best to actually wear. 2,500 and where would that be? Yeah, another reason why I would say I could increase it to 8.6, 8.7. Let's say you want to use the manhole warp and you select the side missions. You have to know where that side missions is because it doesn't tell you based on the name of the mission itself on the map. It just tells you various places on the map, cities, towns, so on and so forth. The only thing it would show you is like side quest stuff, like Lily Cosmo, Ali Avina, or the Mosna, or maybe I'm even saying it wrong. It's Le Agona. These are different places here, so it's definitely not here. My current location is here. Find objective. Okay, okay, never mind. If I just click on find objectives, then it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm thinking too much into it. So yeah, I would say yeah, but it's still 8.55, not really 8.6 for that little side activity you could do in the gravity mining. And since I already tagged all side missions as being in the game, how to find them, I didn't know how to find them. So I guess it is 8.6 now I think about it, because the game did show you how to find them without being a pain in the ass. So you just have to know how to use the map effectively. So I'll go here. Now I can't teleport to the location because it has to be a warp within this area. But it is located at the marketplace in Jira Parta, Loa, or Jirga Parta, or it's not even Parta, it's Jirga Para, Loho, however you want to say that, or Lao. Okay, but there's no. Maybe I could teleport here. Yes, if I use the manhole here, it makes it easier to get there. Now I don't need to do this side mission. The game is pretty much complete. But I think it wants to close out finality with regards to certain things. Because the moment I got into my little house and the credits finished rolling, that creature popped out of nowhere. So if it's not part of the story, it's part of its own side story. That's something different, but I hardly believe it, because it wasn't part of the story before. It just popped out after the credits roll. So this might be the finale of the game, even though the game is pretty much over. However, I would say one thing though. If the little girl popping up, or whatever that was, it looked like a little girl that was on fire, is not this story, then it just popped up to pop up towards the end, and the game was pretty much over. Still don't change the fact that the game is 8.5.
いや、
テイラ
セリ。
セイセイ
どうじょは。
So this is what I'm talking about. Certain missions don't really make sense, and others just feel like it's there to just to kill your time. Like there's no reason for her to fight 100 of these guys. That seems like a lot of wasted time and effort just to acquire something that might not be important to begin with. Like certain challenges just feels like they're boring as hell. And it's not like the fight combat is that detail. It just feel like expressive wasted effort. So that's the reason why I couldn't possibly have this game higher. It just feels like I'm just going, knocking people over, dodging, knocking people over, dodging, knocking people over. It's not fun at all. So I'm gonna see if I could. I'll probably skip this and end this, and then call it a quits on the game, and then proceed to Raven's story because the game is already beaten. I don't need to do things like this to acquire any items anymore. I just wanted to see if the game was good or if the game was not good, and the game was good. It was better than just good. It was slightly better than good. Things that were very beneficial and fun. Was it fun? Yes, it was fun. Was it good? Yes, it was good. Did it have any glitches and bugs? Not really. So all those things were were factors in regards to the game. So when you buy a game, typically multiplayer game, you see most of those things. You don't technically find it in single player games unless the single player game is overly complicated. But this was done very well for its time, and maybe one time there was a glitch. So that just goes to show you how well they did this game. So I can't see this game being below 8.5 considering that as well as a factor. It's not an overly complicated game, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be. So yeah, I think I'll call it a day on this. I don't need to fight 100 people, and I believe that's it. I'll call it a day on Gravity Rush, and I am going to be doing my anime for July and for June of 2025. So today's the 15th, the halfway point in June. So from today moving forward, I'm going to read up at least, I'm not going to do a whole 25, 30 anime thing because I don't believe in the month of May and the month of uh, April and May. There were a lot that was released. April, yes, but May, no. So there were probably only 5 good animes in May. I mean in April, and maybe only one new entry in May that's a series. So I would say a total of maybe 6 animes I'm going to watch, and that's it. I'm not going to even struggle this time with regards to what came out in April and May, and also in June, the first 2 weeks of June, more like the first week of June, because things don't get over to US until the next week after. So the first week of June, all of May, and the last couple of weeks of April. Otherwise, I can't really call this, it won't be able to be called a June anime release. For May and June, anime release in May and June, if there's still April stuff in there. So it will be late April, probably the last week of April. If the anime did not come out the last week of April, I probably won't even watch it. But every anime that came out in May is going to be considered. But I know not a lot is going to be released in May, so it's going to be probably only a total of 5 animes I'm going to go over. I only got 2 weeks anyway, so out of those 5, only 2 are going to be selected. So that's all I got to say for this. I'm pretty much done with Gravity Rush 2. It's very good game, and if things go well, I would say if there's the thing is, there don't seem to be a new game plus.
See.
I'm gonna save it. And now that it's saved, I'm gonna go back to the main menu. And what's strange, actually, let me see something. Most games would just end once the credits roll, but I guess like Witcher 3, once you beat the game, you're still playing the game. The stories end, but you're still in the world because the game allows you to stay in the world, which is quite normal for games that came out in early 2000s to 2010s and late 2010s to I would say about 2020. No, not even 2015. Not even. Now that I think about it, it was 2010s to about, I would say, to 2020. Or is it in between? It's hard to define because Witcher 3, I believe that might have came out in late 2010 or early before 2010. Either way, it's mid the 2000 and early 2000s to late 2010s. That's when the whole style of having your character stay inside of the game world, even though the game is over, and continue to run around. The game is clearly finished, but you could also do extra activities, side missions, and stuff. There's a total of 20 missions of the main story. There's no more than that, and when you press on it, you can't proceed forward. So the only thing you can do is do the side missions and various side missions, Training Day, Spirit of a Man, these type of things, um, and complete these things, and then the game's going to give you some type of closure towards the end. But I don't need the closure because the game already finished. Once the story is over, the story is over. So that's it for Gravity Rush 2. Very fun journey, very interesting, and worth it to have within your collection because they may never make another Gravity Rush 2 game for the next 10 years, 15 years. Like, they're just recently making a new Onimusha game. The last Onimusha game that was made was Onimusha Warlords, I believe, and that was early 2010s. But nobody cared about Onimusha Warlords. The last true Onimusha game that was released was Onimusha 3, because that was part of the Onimusha series, Onimusha 1, 2, and 3. And then sometime down the road, they made the Onimusha Warlords or something like that. I think that's what it was called, or Spirit or Way of the Sword or something like that. I don't remember what that Onimusha game was called, but it was so not important because I don't even remember its name. Demon Siege was the third Onimusha game, and Way of Samurai, I believe, was second, and the first one was the first Onimusha game, um, and that's it. I remember playing Demon Siege, or at least when the game was completed and so many years passed, I got a box set or something of Demon Siege with the guy that was the actor, um, who did, I believe he did The Professional. He was the movie star of that movie, The Professional. I starred Natalie Portman when she was a kid, and so he decided to do his first gaming experience, which was Onimusha 3 Demon Siege. Could have been his first. I'm not sure if it was his first, but that was the last true Onimusha game in my mind, and that was some time ago. And that's what's going to go on with Gravity Rush if another Gravity Rush is released down the road. It's going to be, it would have to be compared to how this new Onimusha game is released. It would probably have to be more than a decade from more than a decade from Gravity Rush 2's original release. So whenever Gravity Rush 2 was originally released, it would probably have to be more than 10 years to 15 years passing before they decide to jump back into Gravity Rush 2 or Gravity Rush 3. Yeah. Speaking of which, let me see. I'm gonna look it up right now. The time period for which Gravity Rush 2 was released. Let's see. Gravity Rush 2 was released in 2017. And so I believe if they are going to go back, if they're going to go back to Gravity Rush again in the near future, let's say for whatever reasons in the near future, because 5 years passed since the original Gravity Rush 2, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 came around, no one did anything about it. So 23, 24, 25, when 3 years past the 5 year marker. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8 years have passed since original Gravity Rush 2. So I give it 10 years. 10 years at minimum for which they might release another or announce another Gravity Rush game. And if they don't do it, and they basically put this story to bed permanently, if someone else was to do a Gravity Rush game that's not part of the original company, it would probably be 15 years after that period for which the original Gravity Rush game was released, and Gravity Rush 2, which 2017 was released. So I would give it at max 15 years for another Gravity Rush game to be released, and 10 years at minimum for another Gravity Rush game to be released. So come 2027, there should be an announcement with regards to another Gravity Rush game. Like if I'm doing things based on every 10 years, or from original Gravity Rush release game to the next Gravity Rush game, and 5 years have passed since 2017 and they have not yet made another Gravity Rush game, and then 8 years have passed and they still have not made another Gravity Rush game, then that means only one thing. They will make or decide to attempt to make another Gravity Rush game in the next 10 to 15 years. Like the only time you go back to an original IP or an old IP in this sense is if there are massive amounts of years that have passed, that you've used up all your resources with regards to what's new, and you want to now explore what was done in the past before. Like Capcom is releasing these new old classic games and remastering them and changing them. So if Gravity Rush is going to be released again in any way, shape, or form on any console or PC, I would say it would be 10 years. At minimum, 10 years. Which means it's 2027 will probably be the first announcement of another Gravity Rush game. Or maybe 2026. It was announced in 2026. But we won't get actual legit content trailer or teaser in 2000 until 2027. And that's me hoping that they're going to continue the Gravity Rush series. If not, because you can't really call it a series if it's just 2 games. But if they do make another one, at minimum it will be 2027, and maximum it will be 15 years. Because if it goes past 2030 or something like that, and they haven't made another Gravity Rush game, they're not going to make another one. I'll tell you right now. Once this game, Gravity Rush 2, goes past its 15-year mark from 2017, they're not going to make another one. They're not going to. And no one is going to wait 20 plus years for another Gravity Rush game. So, at best, if you are really, really, really into an original style game and want to have it on your shelf and believe that they might or might not make another one, I would say buy Gravity Rush 2. Because this isn't Resident Evil. This is not a Resident Evil game. This is an independent game. The first one was independent. The second one became more streamlined, but they end up not making it another one. So this is like having Power Stones 1 and Power Stones 2 and no other Power Stones after that. That's if they never made a Power Stones 3. Or if, let's say, Mortal Kombat, or not even, let's say Virtua Fighter. They only made Virtua Fighter 1 and 2, and they never decided to continue that series. Or, Rival Schools. A good example is Project Justice. If they never decided to make Project Justice and change the name into Rival Schools, or they have no interest in continuing that series down the road, it's a good idea to buy this game, because you're not going to get a second opportunity. Like, you're not going to find Gravity Rush 2 in stores anymore at all. And if you type in on PlayStation Store and you look it up, you might still find it there because it's been converted to PlayStation 4. But if they took it off the PlayStation 4, and I'm not sure if they have yet, and they took it out and put it inside of archives, then that's it. You'll have no idea when the next time they'll decide to take it out of archives. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, none. So best to get games that you know they're not going to go back to and make, and have them within your inventory, because it's highly unlikely they'll make this game again until maybe 2027. And that's a big maybe. And maybe after 2027, who knows, 2030 latest, but that's also an assumption, because if it goes beyond 2030, then you're definitely, they're not going to even attempt to try. So I'm keeping this. This was always going to be in my inventory, because this is one of those rare games like Illbleed that no one's going to mess with anymore. Like, once they were done with it, they were done with it. So that's it. That's all I got to say. I felt like I was talking a lot more than I should, but it's like I'm trying to convince people to understand what good games are, what good games are not. Like, you don't have to worry about the Resident Evil series, because they're always going to be there. You don't have to worry about Madden, because Madden greedy ass is always going to be there. You don't have to worry about FIFA. You don't have to worry about freaking Call of Duty. You don't have to worry about Fortnite, because those games are always going to be there. It's the IPs, the independent games, the art games, the ones that are specific and unique. You know, the non from software, or you know, or Ubisoft games, the non freaking Bethesda games. These are the type of games that aren't going to be around for a long time, and it'll be very rare to have them, because it's not like it's important that you're the one to have them and nobody else is. It just means that you value it more than other people do, because you understand that it's something that might never come back. Now, only people who value these things understand these things. And yeah, it's like old CDs or VHS tapes. They're not coming back, sad to say. So nobody's going to release a new type of VHS in the future, because it had its time. So that's it. That's all I got to say. Very good game.